We gain strength and cultivate a more meaningful life through the things that we give up, which we don't truly need. We get weaker and live a sort of matrixy style life when we simply try to accumulate more stuff that we want or desire, when we chase pleasure and entertainment. And so in today's video, I want to focus on things that you can give up to free up more time and energy to pursue your best life, whatever that looks like for you. If you enjoyed this video today, I want you to give it a like and subscribe to this channel, and leave me a comment down below on which item made the most sense to you to give up right now. If we can start the conversation in the comment section, we can potentially help someone to change their life for the better. Now, the first thing, let's get an obvious one out of the way. Addictions. And when I say addictions, I'm talking about like substances. What people think of when they typically think of an addiction. Things like smoking, drinking, drugs. Perhaps nowadays, porn more and more is being viewed that way. You can maybe think about giving up just one of these things. Or maybe even, like in the case of smoking, maybe there's a certain time of day that you could skip over and start to get a toehold. Second, when it comes to your diet and eating, you could give up snacks. And what I mean by that is both junk food, but also snacking in general. You could give up snacking, give up junk food. You could even give up a meal. I follow the 16-8 intermittent fasting regimen. I typically just eat lunch and dinner. You could consider a diet plan. You know, diet plans are as much about what you need to not eat as much as they are about what you should be eating. Maybe you can follow a diet plan that has you giving up a certain type of food. You can run experiments with yourself, do different types of diets, see how they make you feel. Third, similarly as with number 2, it's about things that we ingest. Third one is medicine. Maybe you're similar to me. Maybe you've gone through periods of your life where you realized you've been taking a certain medicine for quite a long time. Maybe your body's gotten used to it and it's not really even doing you that much good anymore. Take stock of the medicines in your cupboard. See what you can get rid of. If you're taking a lot of medicines, you might need to get some professional advice about that. Maybe you can't just stop them right away, but I think you should remember to try to let food and exercise and community and friendships be your medicine. That's the best way. That's the most natural way. Fourth, I want to talk about social media. And here I want to recommend something very concrete and practical. It comes from Cal Newport. You can do a 30-day digital declutter to figure out how you want to interact in a more healthy way with social media. If that's even possible, I don't know. But the digital declutter goes like this. For the next 30 days, you give up all non-essential social media. So if it's not truly necessary for your life or your job, you give it up. During the 30 days, you cultivate real-life interests and activities and hobbies with other people. And at the end of the 30 days, you decide which, if any, of the social media platforms do you truly need to add back into your life. And if you decide some of them need to go back into your life, decide which part of them, which parts of their functions are the ones that you truly need, and ignore or turn off all the rest. Similarly to social media, we can lump in with that tech. I have tech down for number 5, so devices, screens. We can do a similar digital declutter with just tech in general, our smartphones, our laptops, because I realized something recently, which is I spend a lot of time creatively producing on my computer. And so on the face of it, that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? I'm not just scrolling social media and wasting time online web surfing. I'm using my computer to creatively produce valuable things. But when I thought about it from the perspective of my closest friends and family members, I realized, hey, they must see me with my face in front of the computer screen quite a lot, more than I'd like to admit. So I realized even if we're using tech and screens for good ends, we probably should have a limit around how much time we're using them. And perhaps there's some devices that we could just give up entirely, or some devices that we could leave at our workplaces or in the car before we come home, something like that. Okay, number 7 has to do with our health, specifically like a reverse form of exercise. I want to suggest that you could give up taking the car everywhere. You could instead walk or bike or take a bus. You could potentially meet some people on the bike pass or on the bus. Similarly, you could give up the elevator and take the stairs. So in what ways do you have these sort of crutches which make life more comfortable, more easier for you? Number 6, entertainment in general. Could, a lot of people love to sort of, they have their favorite Netflix shows or their favorite comedy shows, or they like to watch a movie every single weekend. They want to see the latest, greatest movie or whatever. Could you reduce the amount of time you spend just entertaining yourself and flip that over to more so like education? Now, entertainment can be great forms of education if you come at it with a mind to learn. Like if you're going to see a play, or if you're going to see a really cool indie film that is very moving and has had a profound impact in some way in the arts, and you read about it and learn what makes it so great, and then you watch it, that's a little bit different. I'm just talking about the sort of mindless entertainment. Maybe you could decide to cut out a few days a week or a few types of shows which are really, you're just kind of engaging in mindlessly because it's just become a habit, and it's not really building you up or serving you in any meaningful sense. Number 8, could you consider giving up a good habit or interest? This is something that I talk about a lot on this channel because I realize that sometimes it's not a lot of bad habits which plague us. It's the fact that we have too many good habits, too many good interests, and we haven't zeroed in on something that would be a truly great habit or a truly great interest for us. So, are there some things that you are doing, that you're engaging in regularly, which are merely good? Could you reorder them or reduce their time so that you could become more targeted, more effective on something that, again, you think would be great for you to be doing and not merely good? So giving up a merely good habit or interest. Now these last 3 get a little bit more psychological, philosophical, mental. They speak to sort of the larger picture as our lives as humans are concerned. Number 9, and this is very powerful. Could you give up your victim mentality? We all have it. Some people have it really bad. Your victim mentality means you often complain, blame, make excuses about why something isn't going the way you wanted or the way you expected, or why you couldn't make something happen. If you give up the victim mentality, wow, and start to say in every situation where you might have complained or blamed, I should have done something different. That was my responsibility. I need to accept responsibility for that and think about how I could do that better next time. I shouldn't have expected. I shouldn't have expected differently. Okay. So think about giving up the victim mentality. Number 10 is a general one, maybe a little abstract, but could you give up your fear? Could you give up your fear about what will happen if you decide to change jobs, if you decide to move to a new country, if you decide to start sharing about your life on social media or posting your thoughts on social media? Could you give up your fear about what other people will say or do towards you that has you sort of boxed in, hemmed in, living a sort of shadowy style life that's not really yours? And the last one, number 11, and the greatest one, could you give up your past? And I thought to say this because if you want to live a new and better life, your new life is going to cost you your old one. There's going to have to be so much about the way you're living right now that has to go overboard. It's kind of like going through the process of metamorphosis. You're going to have to shed that cocoon. You can't live inside that cocoon. You can't atrophy and die in there. You need to throw these things off your back so that you can take flight. I hope this video has been helpful. Again, let me know which thing to give up resonated the most with you today. And if you've enjoyed this content, I want you to stick around, because time and time again, I'm going to come at you with ideas that I think can really help you to change your life. I'll see you back here next time. Bye-bye for now.